Hey, what's going on? Daniel here. So as I get ready to leave Mexico City again, that I've been for over a month now, I have been thinking about this for a while and I decided to share with you, and that is the topic of burning out while being a digital nomad. And over the last year that I've traveled especially, I've come across a lot of digital nomads who we've become friends, and some who I haven't heard from in such a long time, and some have gone back home to resume their lives and to just figure things out and hopefully travel again in the future. And the issue of burnout is something that I hear so often, and I see a lot. A lot of digital nomads who want to live this lifestyle, want to travel constantly, want to work from the road as well, but cannot really keep up the lifestyle and end up going back to whatever it is that they started from. And it kind of makes me wonder, why people do this in the first place. So I want to share with you some tips or some strategies that I use or that I keep in mind when I travel, and these are the things that will enable you to avoid burning out over the course of your travel. So the number one thing I want to mention here is to not tie your identity to travel. A lot of people make that mistake very early on. They see these people traveling all over the world, being influencers, doing all those cool things, and the word digital nomad is what comes up, and they want to do the same thing. I almost got myself in that hole, but I quickly realized that this lifestyle is not for everyone. It's not the same way. Everyone cannot do it the same way. And one thing I see people just do very early is that they tie their identity to being a digital nomad, to being a full-time traveler. But the thing is, in the long run, they cannot keep up their lifestyle. It could either be because of the financial reasons, or maybe because of the mental and physical stress that comes along with it. And eventually they have to go back home or just stop the lifestyle, and they go into a very dark, deep depression because they cannot keep up with the lifestyle that it made everyone believe that they have. And I've seen a lot of people over the last 1 year at least, especially I met someone, for example, last year in Mexico City, and we talked a lot about the digital nomad lifestyle, how they loved it so much, and I even invited them to come on the podcast and to just talk about it, because that was just the kind of message that they put out, the kind of idea that they put in people's heads. And it was okay until it got to a point where this person ran out of money and they couldn't just continue traveling. They couldn't afford plane tickets. In fact, they had to borrow money to go back home, which I think is a very dark place to be in, because I've been there, and not because I didn't plan ahead, but because a lot of things just happened along the way that really messed me up. So you don't want to tie your identity to travel if you cannot keep it up for the long run. And that is the one thing that I want to reinforce as the number one strategy. Now, the second thing you want to make sure you do is to travel slowly. Now, traveling slowly, it does not all go well with a lot of people. A lot of people feel like to be a digital nomad, you have to travel every other week. You have to, go to all of these places, especially if you're being a content creator. There's this pressure to have to create content, fresh content, new content from exciting new places. You have to seem excited all the time. You have to seem impressed with the places that you go to. And that's not usually the case, because a lot of people will not see the behind the scenes. You only put out the best content out there for people to see, and that means that you have to go to all of these new places maybe every week or every 2 weeks, because that is the frequency of the content you put out. And traveling slowly, what it does to you on the other hand is that it allows you to live life as if you weren't traveling at all. It allows you to keep calm. It allows you to enjoy the place that you're at. It takes traveling from being just a chore into being this enjoyable activity. So if you're someone who enjoys traveling fast, that's okay. Maybe you just want to take a year vacation or take a year break from work, and you just want to visit as many places as possible. That's fine. But if being a digital nomad is something you want to do long term, I can assure you, and I've spoken to so many people, so many digital nomads, I've met so many of them in the last 1 year. Traveling fast does not end well for a lot of people. One, you end up burning out, you end up not liking what you're doing, and everything just becomes like another chore, something else that you have to do. Think about the decision fatigue that comes with choosing where to go, having to book a place on Airbnb, having to apply for visas if you have to. So that's something that you don't want to deal with every now and then, and I've seen so many people burn out because of this. So keep it in mind, traveling slowly is a more enjoyable way of traveling in the long run. Now, number 3, you should always keep in mind that going back to the places that you've been to in the past, the places that you love, that you like, that you've made connections in, is never a bad idea. A lot of people think that to be a digital nomad, you have to go to new places all the time. You have to go to different countries. People have to see that you're traveling constantly, and that's not the case. For me, I enjoy going back to the places that I love, and that's worked wonders for me, because not only has it deepened my relationships in these places, it's also allowed me to see travel from a different light, to enjoy traveling. Because for example, I was in Albania for the first time last year, and I didn't have a very good experience the first time because I didn't plan for a lot of things. But then I decided to go back again to just see things in a different light. For example, I went in the winter season, but then I decided, you know what would it be like if I go back in the summertime? And I was there again for over 2 months, and I enjoyed my time there. I made new friends. I was even on national TV. I was invited to come speak on national TV. And these are things that could happen if you're just open-minded. Just be open and willing to go back to the places that you've been before. You don't have to go to new places. If you've been to a place and you enjoy the food, or you've made some friends, or maybe there's something you haven't seen, it's okay to go back and see these things. And again, everything comes down to enjoying travel, to liking the idea of being on the road, of being in the skies, of being on the train again. So that's one of the things that's worked for me, especially since becoming a digital nomad. One, I have to relearn a lot of things. I have to relearn the language. I have to start meeting new people all over again. And all of these things can weigh on you over time if you always have to be constantly in new environments, meeting new people, doing new things. These things can bring a lot of pressure along with it. So don't be afraid to go back to the places that you've been before, and you realize that by doing that, travel becomes more fun, it becomes more enjoyable again. Another reason why I see that a lot of people burn out is the fact that they want to go to as many places as possible. I call them the country counters. A lot of people want to put in a value. I've been to 65 countries, 85 countries, 100 countries. That is really cool. But what happens if you're not really enjoying the place that you're at? I use enjoy a lot in this video because honestly, travel is just about enjoyment, at least for me. And I see a lot of people wanting to go to as many countries as possible, and in the process, it becomes, again, a chore. It becomes an activity, something they have to do. But if you just give yourself time to just live in the moment, to just enjoy where you're at right now, enjoy the 10 countries that you've been to in 5 years, you will see that travel becomes more fun again. Don't be in a rush. Don't be in a hurry to go everywhere, because at the end of the day, these countries are always going to be there. You just have to, pick out the best time whenever it's convenient for you to go see these places. As for me, I don't care how many countries I've been to. In the last 5 years that I've, been traveling, I've only been to maybe about 10 countries, and that's fine. But the amount of experiences and the friendships that I've created in these countries, it's immense. But what I'm trying to say is, from a personal standpoint, I find that not putting yourself under any type of pressure makes you, just live in the moment and enjoy your travels, and just makes you have the best experience possible. So don't be a country counter, be an experience aficionado. And I think that's going to make a lot of difference. And another thing I want to mention is, make it a duty that if you go to a place, if you go to a new country, try to connect with locals. Try to go where the locals go. Try to eat local food. Try to have local experiences. Try to date locals if you're single. And all of these things, I've found that, they, again, make travel enjoyable. They make it fun, new experiences. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new to experience. And all of these things, by being around locals, by eating local food, by dating locals, by doing the things that locals do, going where the locals go, you realize that your experiences become deeper, they become richer, and all of this contributes to, again, making travel more fun and enjoyable, and less of an activity, therefore leading to some type of burnout. Now, finally, what I want to mention is that while you travel, you should have a bigger goal in mind. Travel is just travel if you're just doing it just to do it. For me, I try to tie my travels to creating new memories, creating new experiences, and sharing information just like I'm doing right now on a medium like YouTube, in order to help other people become better travelers and maybe explore the nomad side as well. I have a bigger goal in mind. If you just traveling just for the sake of it, then it's not going to have as much fulfillment as having a bigger goal. Another goal I tie to my travel is that while I do this, while I travel, I want to spend as much time in different places as possible. And that allows me to focus more on my business. That allows me to grow my business. That allows me to, be in a focused state of mind. And at the end of the day, I mean, over the last 1 year, I've seen tremendous growth in my personal life, in my business, and in so many ways, in my relationships. In fact, I don't spend time where I'm not supposed to. I don't give my attention to things that are not worth it because I know I only have so much of it. So as you travel, try to tie your travel to a bigger goal. And I think that's going to help you in the long run, with burnout and mental stress and physical stress as well. Anyways, these are the tips that I have for you in order to avoid burnout while you travel as a digital nomad. If you have any other tips that you want to share, make sure you leave them in the comments. And if this video has been helpful, consider subscribing. And also, if you want to listen to my podcast where I talk to other nomads as well, I'll leave it in the comment section. My name is Daniel, and I wish you all the best in your travels. Take care now. Bye.